Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video, I'm finally going to give you my top 15 Chypre fragrances. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a few months, but at least the last couple of weeks I've really been wanting to get it recorded. I've just been busy, haven't been able to. So I'm going to give you my top 15 Chypre fragrances from within my collection. So let's go ahead and get it going. Now briefly, what a Chypre fragrance is traditionally is that it would have a top note of a citrus like bergamot or lemon. It would have a mid note of labdanum, and then it would have a base note of oakmoss. So oakmoss is probably the main characteristic of a Chypre fragrance. Again, there are a number of videos where people go into depth about this particular genre, but that's briefly what a Chypre is. And the majority of the fragrances that I will feature will have these characteristics: top of citrus, middle of labdanum, a base of oakmoss, but not every one of them does. And so that's what makes putting things in categories to me a little bit confusing. So this is what, for the most part, this is why I made the video, to show you at least a lot of the ones that I like, which would probably be my top 10 or top 5 from this list. But then also what other fragrances that you might have not known are considered Chypres, and they are. So let's go ahead and do it. Number 15 on my list comes in the last place because I still haven't grown to love it yet. It's not exactly what I expected. I even was trying to get rid of it at a time. I like it a little bit more now, but it still isn't a love for me. So that's why I'm placing it at the last spot. So hopefully it'll grow on me in the future. And this is from Olfactive Studio. This is Chypre Shot. Chypre Shot was released in 2018. Some of the main notes are cardamom, saffron, coffee, black pepper, black tea, oakmoss, and labdanum. And some people have called this a gourmand Chypre. So it is sweet. I don't really get a lot of oakmoss or any of these characteristics of some of the more famous Chypres in there. So it's almost more of like a gourmandish coffee type of scent with saffron. So that's number 15, Chypre Shot. Number 14 on the list comes from the house of Chanel, and I felt like I couldn't have a list without having this one on it. And this is Pour Monsieur. Pour Monsieur, this is the EDT. This is just considered a Chypre. This was released in 1955. Some of the notes on this are lemon, petitgrain, ginger, basil, oakmoss, vetiver, and cedar. This particular one I have in my hand is an eau de toilette. I have not tried an eau de parfum, and again, this one, like the other one, it is at the bottom of my list just because it just doesn't do it for me. It's like a nice, mature citrus, slightly oakmoss type of scent, something that you've smelled before. Like, it's just a classic type of scent. It's nothing that is extremely unique for me. I have not tried the eau de parfum. I only have the eau de toilette, but the word on the street is that the eau de toilette is not available in the US. It's only available outside of the US. So this is one of the reasons why I got the eau de toilette. So number 14, Pour Monsieur from Chanel. Coming in at number 13 is from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. This is a discontinued fragrance, and this is Kouros Fraicheur. Kouros Fraicheur, this one is considered a woody Chypre. This one was released in 1993. Some of the notes are orange blossom, pineapple, vetiver, patchouli, and ginger. So there's no oakmoss, there's no labdanum in it. So just keep that in mind. So this one, I like this one a little bit more. I like Kouros Fraicheur a little bit more than Pour Monsieur. It has that uniqueness of the original Kouros, but it's totally toned down, and it's made fresher and lighter. So I appreciate this one a little bit more than Pour Monsieur. So number 13, Kouros Fraicheur. Number 12 on my list is the beginning of some of the ones on the list that are considered Chypre fruity, which is probably my favorite subgenre of the genre. This one comes from the house of Rochas, and this is Rochas Femme. Rochas Femme was released in 1944. Some of the main notes on it are plum, peach, cinnamon, Rosewood, Ylang-Ylang, Rose, Iris, Jasmine, Oakmoss, Benzoin, and Vanilla. So with Rochas Femme, this is the first fragrance that I ever bought that was completely targeted towards women. I got it because it was supposed to be similar to some things like Mitsuko and other classic Chypre fruities. And I found a year 2000 bottle. And so we know that EFRA basically banned the use of real Oakmoss in fragrances, and this happened in 2001. So when I saw I could get a slightly vintage bottle of this Rochas Femme, I decided to just go ahead and pick it up. It was relatively cheap, but I don't love it the way I love the other Chypre fruities that are on the list. Number 12, Rochas Femme. Number 11 on the list comes from the house of Xerjoff, and this is Accento. Accento is considered a Chypre floral. It was released in 2019. This one has pineapple, iris, jasmine, vetiver, vanilla, and patchouli. This is, to me, a very good, almost slightly powdery, fruity scent. These Xerjoff fragrances were hyped up, and I just wanted to get my hands on it. I couldn't get the tester for any cheaper than pretty much the full presentation, so I just got the full presentation. This one seems to be, it would be a very nice scent in the spring and the summertime. I haven't gotten a ton of wear out of it because, you know, obviously I just have a large collection and it's just hard to get to things, and for the most part I forgot about it, so that's why it's slipped down on the list, on this list. But I do enjoy the smell of it. I like the pineapple in it. I like the powderiness of it. And that's pretty much it. So coming in number 7 is Accento from Xerjoff. Now we're getting into the top 10. I was originally going to do a top 10, but I wanted to do again at 15 because I had 15 in my collection. Most of which actually, some of them I actually got specifically because they were Chypre. Some of the other ones that are on this list are just ones that I found out later that they were classified as Chypres. So number 10 is from the house of Etat, Libre, Orange, and this one is Exit the King. Exit the King is considered a Chypre floral. It was released in 2020. This one has a soap accord, aldehydes, musk, timber, which is a tea, jasmine, rose, Oakmoss, and ambroxan. What I like about this fragrance is that it's very soapy, it's super clean, has a lot of aldehydes in it. So number 10 is Exit the King from Etat, Libre, Orange. Number 9 on my list is a new acquisition. This is from Francesca Bianchi. This is my third one I purchased, and this one is Etruscan Water. Etruscan Water was released in 2019. This one is just considered a Chypre fragrance. Etruscan Water has notes of bergamot, tangerine, grapefruit, orris root, ambergris, labdanum, and oakmoss. So this one has all of the characteristics of a traditional Chypre fragrance. This one, since I first tried it, as you see, I've used a lot of it. These are only 30 mils extraits. I like it a lot more than when I very first tried it, but it's still a little bit lower on the list. And what I like about it is that it has those type of notes that got me intrigued from Chypre as a style that I just have seemed to have fallen in love with. So number 9 is Etruscan Water from Francesca Bianchi. Number 8 on the list is another recent acquisition, so it's one I do have to live with. I did have a sample of it from Lucky Scent, but I didn't have it in enough time to have it on my samples that I tried that ended up being full bottles. But this was one of them, and this is from the house of Bortnikov, and this is Moss Cologne. Moss Cologne is a Chypre fruity. It was released in 2020. The notes on it are sweet orange, grapefruit, chambaca, oakmoss, ambergris, labdanum, and tonka bean. So this one I do like a lot. I do like it a little bit more than Etruscan Water. It does have some of the same characteristics, but with this one, the dry down just becomes a little bit sweeter. But again, these are some that I just have to live with a little bit more than I've lived with, say, the top 5 for at least. So number 8 is Moss Cologne from Bortnikov. Number 7 on my list comes from the house of Joe Malone, and this one is considered a Chypre fruity as well. And this one is English Pear and Fraicheur from Jo Malone London. Now, I was lucky enough to get this, I believe it's a 9 or a 10 ml, a 9 ml sample when I made another purchase from Bloomingdale's, which was good for this list. I already burnt through a bottle of this a couple of years ago, so I didn't know, obviously, when I had it 2 or 3 years ago that it was a considered a Chypre fruity. But the notes here are pear, melon, Fraicheur, of course, rose, and rhubarb. So this is just a fire, you know, just bomb summer scent. It doesn't have like the biggest longevity, but it is a little bit louder than some of the other Jo Malone fragrances, and I think it's because of the addition of the rhubarb. Rhubarb is very sharp. It's almost, I've never tasted real rhubarb, but I've tried other fragrances from Jo Malone that had rhubarb in it, and they're very pungent and very sharp. So this one I love a lot. Like I said, I already burned through a 100 ml bottle a couple years ago, and I have this one. I can't wait to wear this in the summer. So number 7, English Pear and Fraicheur from Jo Malone. Now number 6 on the list is from the house of Frederic Malle. This is, I believe, one of the last 50 mils that exists. So that's part of the reason why I picked it up, but I do like the scent because it is unique. And this is from the house of Frederic Malle. This one is called Le Parfum de Therese. And I don't have all of the notes on them. Usually I have my notes here that have all the notes. Somehow I got cut off. And one of the main notes in it, and one of the main characteristics of it, is that it has melon in it. I'll put the rest of the notes up here, and we'll just keep it moving. Number 5 on my list comes from the house of Rogue Perfumery. This was the fragrance that I felt was full bottle worthy from all of the samples that I had. This was the one that I definitely had, you know, to order from Lucky Scent, and this is Flora and Fauna from Rogue Perfumery. Again, this is supposed to be an all natural fragrance. This is another Chypre fruity released in 2020. It has bergamot, labdanum, oakmoss, apricot, civet, and leather. I love this scent. This is what I love about Chypre, especially Chypre fruities, this Mitsuko-esque type of scent. So I really love this. So I put this one at number 5 because some of the other ones I like a little bit more, but this is definitely a top tier Chypre fruity fragrance. Flora and Fauna from Rogue Perfumery. All right, number 4. So you can't have a Chypre list without having the famed Mitsuko Eau de Parfum from Guerlain. This bottle, I think, is a 2009 bottle. This was originally released in 2019. The notes on this are bergamot, citruses, rose, jasmine, peach, ylang-ylang, oakmoss, and vetiver. And this is just obviously the forefather of all Chypre fruity. So I do love this scent. I believe that you can't have a list without it. If for some reason these Mitsuko bottles seem to be hard to find, even here in Kuwait, I was only able to find it from one of my spots. They don't even have it at the big department stores. There's not available online. It's not discontinued, so I don't know why it's kind of so hard to find, but I'm glad I got a bottle of it. And if you've never smelled it, you should definitely check it out if you ever want to know what a Chypre fruity smells like, because this is one of the first ones. If I don't believe it's the first. I think Coty is supposed to be the first Chypre, and then Mitsuko is supposed to be the second, something like that. So here we go. Number 4, Mitsuko EDP. Number 3 on the list was on my video for Fragrances for Life. Still is. This is from the house of Nishane. This is Hachivat. Hachivat, 100 ml bottle. This is an extrait. It's considered a Chypre fruity, released in 2017. Pineapple, grapefruit, bergamot, cedar, patchouli, jasmine, oakmoss in this. There's not very much to say about it. It's just, as they say, it's a banger. It's just a good one. Not too much to say about it. I love this scent. All right, so what are the top two? All right, the first one I want to mention, I got it because, you know, I just went down this Chypre fruity type of rabbit hole, and then Diaghilev popped up from Roja Dove. That's like $1,000 fragrance. And then people were saying that Jubilation 25 from the women's side smelled like it. So I went and I smelled it. I've tried them side by side, and they're actually not that similar. They have some like opening similarities, but when I tried Jubilation 25 women, I just had to have it. I'm absolutely in love with this scent. It's, you know, I love this scent. It's It doesn't smell like Mitsuko, but it has some of those characteristics, and it has some of its own unique characteristics. I believe this one was released before Diaghilev. This one was released in 2008, and again, the house is Amouage. The notes listed here: Ylang-Ylang, rose, tarragon, lemon, incense, labdanum, and myrrh. Those are just some of the notes. But this one, it was just in my mind. Finally got a chance to order it. I think I got it from Max Aroma. And the good thing about this one is that I paid a tester bottle price for it. And when I got it in, I got the full presentation. Usually tester bottles don't come with these magnetic caps. They come with like these cylindrical ones that aren't magnetic. So I got this for like a steal. I got it for a steal, and I just love this scent. One day, if I come across it, I'll try to get the extrait. So number 2 on the list, Jubilation 25 Women. Coming in at number 1. Some of you might already know what my number 1 is. This is another all-time favorite smells. When I picked this up last year, I believe it just was my number 1 favorite pickup of the entire year. What I like about it again is that I found it on my own. I just was trying some things. The shop where I get some niche perfumes was having 30% off. So I was just trying some things, and I tried this, walking around the mall, smelling my hand. Then I started like looking up reviews, and I just more and more in the dry down, I just fell in love with it. So this is my first Chypre Fruity that I got, and this is the one that sent me on this path, and this is from the house of MCDI Parfums, and this one is Chypre Palatine. This, to me, is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. I love it. I love everything about it, from the opening to the dry down. This one was Chypre Palatine, was released in 2012. The notes on it are aldehydes, labdanum, clementine, rose, jasmine, tolu balsam, oakmoss, and castoreum. Now this one, Chypre Palatine, the more that I've smelled some of these things, you know, when you smell them like in a vacuum with nothing else going on, it may remind you of something else, but then when you try them side by side, they almost have no similarities to a certain degree. And so this one is just uniquely its own. It has some you know, resinous, you know, ambery facets to it, but then it's bright with the aldehydes and the citruses, and then it's just a beautiful scent. This is one that, you know, I'm not really into buying backup bottles, you know, because it's hard to even get through any of this, but they have one in the square bottle, 100 ml. These are 75 ml bottles. I may, if I can, one day get it. You know, I just love this scent that much. And so that's pretty much it. That's my top 15 Chypre fragrances, again, for the year 2022. The next time when I've worn these enough and I narrow it down, I'll probably make a smaller list video sometime in the future. But what else is going on? This is the month of April. I'm recording this as of the 8th of April. All the month of April, I am only wearing amber fragrances. The first 12 or 13 days, I'm only wearing amber fragrances that have the word amber in the name. The rest of the month, I'll just wear amber style fragrances. So if you want to follow along or join in, you can follow me on Instagram. The link is in the bio. I want to send a thank you to all the old subscribers and the new subscribers. I appreciate you supporting the channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one, guys. Peace.